Welcome to the E3 Growth and Development process. I'm Marisol Marin, the Director for Teacher Growth and Development, and your facilitator for today. The goal of this session is to come together to create a common understanding around the evolution and design of our growth and development system. By the end of this session, we will have reviewed how we develop the E3 Growth and Development process, as well as looked at the tools that will support its implementation. As we take on this work today, we will gain a deeper understanding around the history, the purpose, and the structures for the process. We will develop a common language around the foundations and the frameworks. We will listen in on conversations around the importance of collaborative culture and the conditions which promote growth and development. And lastly, we will identify what tools are available to support educators in the reflection, creation, and implementation of growth plans. The growth and development process has been an ongoing collaboration between the district and SDEA. We believe that a united partnership was crucial in this work to be able to envision a new direction for our educators in their professional growth and development. I want to pause here. Our STEL evaluation model has been around for quite a long time. I want you to stop and think, when do you think that the STEL evaluation started within our district? Or how old do you think the STEL evaluation is? I'll give you a moment to think about that. Well, if you said 1971, almost 50 years, you're right. We knew it was time to shift our current practice and establish a model that would empower educators to be innovative when thinking about their own learning. To do this, the E3 committee was formed. The committee, comprised of district and union members, engaged in the following steps. First, we bargained contract language in Article 14.8 to initiate the creation of a new system based on growth and development. The E3 committee was formed. Next, we participated in the County Office of Education Educator Effectiveness and Evaluation Project, designed to guide districts through a process of revising their evaluation system through research and collaboration with other districts that had already gone through the process. There, we developed a prototype and led 100 K-12 educators through that model. The following 2 years, we revised the prototype based on feedback and expanded the number of participants to take larger groups through the trials of this model. Feedback from participants in the pilot years expressed appreciation for a renewed focus, one on standards, the ability to work with colleagues, and a sense of ownership in their own growth and development. These are a few of the voices of our past participants. Their words informed us that we were heading in the right direction. Their voices had echoed collaboration again and again. For this work to be successful, it had to be centered around relationships and trust. We knew that a trusting culture nurtured a safe environment. And lastly, that strengthening a system through partnerships would allow participants to feel supported in their growth and development in a safe and collaborative manner. The E3 committee understood that to enable a shift in our practice, a safe and collaborative environment needed to be one of the foundational components of our new system. We heard from past participants. Now let's hear from SDEA President Keisha Borden and Area Superintendent Lamont Jackson.
Hello, my name is Keisha Borden, and I am president of SDEA, the San Diego Education Association, and I want to welcome you to the Educators Effectiveness and Empowerment Growth and Development Process, or as we refer to it, E3.
Thank you, Keisha. My name is Lamont Jackson, the Area 2 Superintendent. This video will provide you with an overview of E3, the highlights of the process, its history, as well as the collective vision for empowering educators in their professional learning.
E3 is a growth and development process designed to support and strengthen the knowledge, skills, and practices of educators to improve student learning.
This new system evolved from a collaborative approach between our district and the San Diego Educators Association to reimagine, redesign, and to rebrand what we have historically known as our evaluation system.
And through this work, a vision started to take shape. We wanted to create a system in which educators would reflect on their practice and choose areas of growth based on their own learning needs and those of their students.
Know that E3 was designed with a specific spirit, an environment that fosters a collaborative culture which supports educators in their learning needs. Within our system, that offers a reflective, inquiry-based approach for professional growth based on the California standards for the teaching profession, structures for learning, and student data.
So in your E3 growth cycle, you will work in partnership with your site leader. Together, you will create a growth and development plan, which includes goal development and action steps for goal implementation. Check-in sessions with your site leader are embedded in the growth cycle to help you through the process.
Additional supports are also integrated into the system. Varied training options, flexibility in modifying your goals, opportunities to collaborate with colleagues, and consultation from our E3 team, all intentionally designed to assist you through each component of our cycle.
Now, we say that E3 empowers educators to be extraordinary, but E3 simply provides the platform for you to showcase how extraordinary you are through your learning.
E3 allows you to demonstrate your creativity, your courage to try new things, your desire to learn, and your dedication to continue to grow and develop your practice.
Now that you know a little bit about E3, the history, the process, and the spirit of the system.
This is where your journey begins. We look forward to seeing the work that you will take on in E3 and how your learning impacts your practice and the growth of your students. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, how do we create a safe and collaborative environment together? In hearing all of the voices, we repeatedly heard the appreciation for collaboration. The E3 committee knew for the work to be successful, it had to be centered around relationships and trust. We knew that a trusting culture nurtured a safe environment. As the E3 committee started, we knew that the foundational pieces of the system needed to be grounded with these overarching themes. We already focused on the first, safe and collaborative environment. We needed to utilize also standards for the teaching profession. Third, we had to have a definition of best practices which supported student progress. And lastly, we had to identify specific structures for learning which best supports each educator in their growth and development journey. Each of the components play an equal important role in the commitment to the mission of this program, which is to create a culture where educators are empowered to be reflective in thinking about their own professional growth. So, what are the tools to support your growth and learning? Well, we've already talked about the first foundation. Let's take a look at the second. We knew that in building a system that moved from past practices of equating success with competency, the committee aimed to shift to a system that was based on professional standards, one that looked at successes through the lens of student growth and educator development. We researched the California Teachers Association white pages in their guiding principles, and we found that to accomplish this goal, the California Standards for the Teaching Profession, or the CSTPs, could be used as the framework to connect best practices with effective methods to approaching learning. These are the CSTPs. There are 6. You might think, hey, I used these during the induction. Or you might be thinking, I think I remember these. Or you might be saying, I don't recall these. But there are 6. There are 6 standards in the teaching profession. And the standards are not set forth as regulations to control the specific actions of teachers, but rather to guide teachers as they develop, refine, and extend their practices. This is stated right in the CSTP guidelines. E3 growth and development goals will be derived from the CSTPs. The work is grounded in these standards so educators can reflect on their strengths and choose the areas of growth based on self-assessment. This year, we will be focusing on Standard 1, engaging and supporting all students in learning, Standard 2, creating and maintaining an effective environment for student learning, Standard 5, assessing students for learning, and lastly, Standard 6, developing as an educator. To assist further in your goal creation, tools have been designed to help you as an educator define your goals by targeting an area of growth using CSTP self-reflections, utilizing student data to determine the needs of your students, and analyzing your own learning based on CSTP self-assessment rubrics. All of these tools will be housed in an E3 Google Classroom specific to your school site. You will be learning more about the tools during the Toolbox training that you will attend next. Another document that you will find in this Google Classroom is the Growth and Development Plan. It is the cornerstone of the process. The plan is intended to be a living document that guides educators like yourself through goal setting and a creation of an action plan for goal implementation. The plan offers a holistic approach to learning, giving you, the educator, an active role as a learner. The growth plan is comprised of these following components: a space for goal development, action steps for goal implementation, identifying your professional learning, identifying indicators or evidence for success for you as a teacher as well as for your student, a space for check-in sessions when you meet with your site administrator, and lastly, a place for self-reflection. Again, all of these items will be found in a Google Classroom. We call it the Toolbox. Training sessions have been created to guide educators and site leaders through each component of the growth and development process. The E3 growth and development process is intended to build partnerships that include educators and their site leaders participating in training sessions to share the experience and the learning together. The first is the Toolbox preparation. Educators and site leaders will learn about the tools provided to support the growth and development process. This session is intended to help participants organize their ideas and data in preparation for goal action plan development. Goal writing and plan development. Educators will look at setting professional learning goals based on student data coupled with self-assessment of the California Standards for the Teaching Profession. The development of these goals guide the educator to choose the next steps in their own learning and that of their students. A plan is crafted as a roadmap to navigate their individualized learning. Check-in protocol is a training where educators will engage in collaborative conversations with their site leaders about their progress. These sessions are designed to highlight their successes and to find support in maneuvering through challenges they may encounter. The last training is the end of the year self-reflection. Educators reflect on the impacts, the insights, and their influences for future learning. How does this process take shape over the course of a year? The professional growth plan is a cycle. Goals are set in the fall. Formal observations are replaced by check-ins, where site leaders visit classrooms to observe and collaborate on the progress of the defined goals. At the end of the year, site leaders meet with educators to review the data collected, to share successes, and to brainstorm next steps for continued learning. Now, for this year, we will be completing goal setting and only one check-in, which will be in the spring. And lastly, an end-of-the-year reflection. The timeline is structured around supporting the educators through the growth and development process. Support is given with each component of the process through trainings, check-ins with your site leaders, and consultation with E3 staff. The support offered defines the system in which educators are given the tools and help they need to pursue authentic learning goals for themselves and their students. In preparation for our next training, the Toolbox training, know your timeline. Review the CSTPs. Look for your toolbox. And email us any questions you may have. Thank you for participating in the screencastify of the overview for the E3 growth and development process. For any questions, feel free to email us at e3@sandy.net or attend one of our office hours. You can find our office hours on our website, bit.ly/E3 Growth and Development System, all in caps. Again, we're only an email away.